Good day to be back out here just to really just start to refocus, regroup as a football team, and it's our bye week. So we'll look to get something done today, but then get on with it. Take questions.
Now that you've had a couple of days to maybe sit back and reflect, how do you feel that you guys are regrouping as coaches and as players?
Well, as coaches, we were out recruiting here for the last couple of days, but I think we are. You know, there's always disappointment when you lose a big football game, but you know, young people are resilient, so we'll be able to move past that. We had opportunities to win the football game and just didn't take advantage of it ultimately, and you know, that's what cost us.
Mark, you've talked a few times over the last couple of years about the quarterback running a football. Are you concerned, or maybe not concerned, but do you want to see Connor tuck it and run a little bit more?
Yeah, and I think that'll come. You got to remember that he came out of the Jacksonville State game with the knee a little bit. You know, after that hit. So, you know, he pushed through it and was able to play and play well, but I think there was a little concern about the running aspect of him. But I do expect that to happen. I think that's what's needed in college football. To ultimately be successful, you got to be able to create, move in the pocket. There's no question about that. And I think he did that in the first, really almost the first total 3 quarters, and then not so much in the fourth. But, you know, I think that's going to come.
What about the running game overall?
Yeah, you know, you always want to stay balanced, be able to run the ball effectively. If you can do that, you know, it makes things easy. So, you know, we need to continue to work towards that. But again, you know, playing a good football team, that has something to do with it. So you've got to stay balanced.
Mark, is there part of you that wish maybe you didn't have the bye this week so they could get right back at it?
Well, you know, I always get that question, I think, whether we win or whether we lose. But, you know, I really don't worry about that because it's something that you really can't control. You plan for this week and you take it as it comes.
How do you introduce competition to the team now after the first 2 games set? Is it almost a reset moving forward with the bye week to work on some things?
Yeah, you know, I think always in the bye week you try and address some different things, make some corrections, but as much as anything, I think you just want to stay the course in terms of, you know, technique work and things of that nature, and do some of the things that you need to do and try and begin to move towards the next game, I think, but not totally. From a competitive standpoint, we're gonna play football today, so we're gonna see what we got.
How much did that game take out of you guys mentally and physically with a tough week of practice, kind of all the build-up, and then you actually got to go out there and play the game too?
I don't know. You know, I don't think it took anything out of us. I think that, you know, you know, when you have a chance to win, and you got to feel like when you're up by 9 in the 3rd quarter with 6 minutes to go, you got a chance. You know, it just is a disappointment, but I think that young people are resilient, as I said before, and I think we are as well. And you know, at the beginning of the season, so you've got to just, you know, you just got to sort of refocus, regroup, and move to the next challenge, and that's what we have to do. If you don't, then there's danger of falling again. So we'll do that. We've always been like that, and we're going to press on. But at the same time, you have to understand that you have a chance to win. You have to play with confidence. You have to be able to respond when there's an opportunity, one side or the other, or special teams, and you have to be able to make good on some of the little things that are basically in your control. Some things are not in our control, some things are, but the things that are in our control, we have to be able to do.
Mark, with the communication stuff on defense, was there a particular area that needs more work than others?
No, I mean, when I said the miscommunication, it was extremely loud there. We had it quiet for a while if you were out at the game, but then it got very loud in the 4th quarter, and you know, they're making changes and checks at the line of scrimmage and moving their offensive people around, which translates to us making changes as well. And some of that didn't get done, and I think it was because it was loud and because we just didn't, whether it was a hand signal or whether it was just an immediate, you know, yell to another player, whatever it was, we didn't get it done. You know, I don't think there was a miscommunication, and that's why we lost. I just think that we blew some things, and then there were some different things that we just were in our control that we didn't do. You know, from a technique standpoint.
How important is this week, though, maybe for your players, with it being a bye week, for just mentality and just getting their mind back to a good focus?
Well, you know, if you're here and you get up and you get involved in weights at 6:30 in the morning or 5:30 for some, and then you go to class, and then you've got study hall and you've got tutorials, then you've got practice, and after practice you go to training table, and then after that you've got some tutorials. It's a long day. So it gives, I think, everybody a chance to sort of catch their breath a little bit and sort of begin a little bit to try and be a little bit more of a student during your off week. So, you know, we're trying to do that. At the same time, trying to come to grips with everything that went on last weekend, regroup, refocus, and then also, you know, you want to stay in football shape as well.
Are you surprised that your run game went flat in the third quarter? You've been able to take over games in the second half the last couple of years. Was that one of the bigger surprises?
Yeah, I think that the way we're running the football, or starting to in the second quarter and early third, that you know, we need to be able to continue to do that. I don't have an answer for that other than, you know, Oregon started getting us in more passing yardage situations, and they've got a good football team.
Down in distance, but you've run into 8-man boxes before and had successes. Was some of it maybe Jeremy's ankle 100%? Did he look?
Well, you know, I mean, it could be, you can look at that and say, well, he had an ankle sprain last week, but you know, he played in the game, so you know, he was capable.
Mark, any changes on the depth chart with the ones as of now?
No, not as of now. We're just going to compete though and allow other people to get some reps. So we'll see.
How about your health? By the time you get to the next game, where are you going to be overall health-wise?
That's how practice goes today.
Will you go again Friday or this weekend? I know you said someone.
No, we're going to go. We're going to go today, and we're going to let them. We're going to turn them loose. Hopefully, they can get home, and then we're going to come back on Sunday.
Mark, what's your thoughts on Penn State being eligible now to play in bowl game and the championship game? How's that changed?
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for the conference. I think it's a good thing for Penn State players, and you know, I applaud the people that made that decision, because you know, those are young people. They're the ones taking the hit.
Did you feel good about where you guys are at in the poll now? You're 13th. Last year it took you 12 weeks to get to 13.
You know, I really don't look at those polls very much, because, I mean, really, the only thing that's really a difference maker is where you're at the end of all this. That's going to be the difference maker, and we're going to find out as we go through the season. And so.
You think all your goals are still there, though, just based on where you
I think all our
fell?
goals are still there, and I've said before, you know, number one goal is to get in that playoff game. If we do that, good things are going to happen. You know, that's what we can control. Some of the things we cannot control, but that's what we can control.
Mark, you mentioned a little bit Sunday night, but could you just talk again about Tony Lippett and how far he's come the first couple of weeks he's had with you guys?
Yeah, Tony's been a great player for us last year, and you know, he really responded last year, and then I think this year, and I think he's grown as a leader. I think he's got outstanding skills, and you know, he's doing everything he needs to do.
What was the reaction to that game when you guys were out recruiting, just the attention it got? I think it was the most watched game of the weekend, and the way you guys played.
For the most part, I'd say it was positive, but you know, I didn't really bring it up. You know, so.
Mark, what was your evaluation?
One guy said, "Weren't you in that game on Saturday?" And I said, "Yeah." So.
After the film, what was your evaluation of Connor's play overall in that game?
I thought Connor played very well, but in the fourth quarter needs to play better. But you know, he'd be the first to admit that, because coming down the stretch, that's where your quarterback needs to play very, very well. And you know, he has opportunities to do those different things, and he's good enough, and he's proven he's good enough. So his standards are extremely high. You know, if it was last year at this time, I would say he's had an excellent game. But it's this year, this time, and you know, if you want to play at that level, your quarterback's got to play at that level. I mean, this is the way it is. And you know, so you know, I'm sure he wish he had a couple plays back, because he's got the ability to make those key plays.
Anything new on Deion Drake?
Deion will forego his first semester here and continue working on just getting things squared away eligibility-wise. So, you guys good?
Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.